that talk about the different components of the program.
Julian, I have it, but I didn't bring it to you by chance.
I do, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. So, I just want to talk a little bit more about the different components of our program. Group class is, I would say, one of the most important elements. The group class is where the kids develop their friendships, and that is one of the key motivators, is the relationships they'll have with their peers. So that is one thing. Another thing that happens in group class is that they are doing what they already know. And it's the use of what they know that really helps internalize that. So we don't plan to learn new things in group class, but rather to use what they already know. That said, everybody learns at their own rate. So there's going to be times in group class when some kids are doing one thing and some of the kids are doing a different thing. Sometimes the kids will be playing and other kids will listen. Sometimes there'll be an activity, one for the kids who can do a thing already and one thing for the kids who are listening. That is wonderful because the kids who already can do the thing get to demonstrate it. And the kids that are watching, first of all, they learn it better when they've already seen it done. And then they're also motivated to do the thing. It can create a little bit of stress in the short run because kids want to do the thing they can't do, and sometimes it can, you'll definitely wind up having conversations about that with your kids and with your teachers, that kind of thing. Try not to let that stress you out. If you see another kid doing something that your kid doesn't do yet, it doesn't mean anything other than that the teacher has done that activity with that kid. There could be a million reasons why that teacher has done the thing with one kid and not the other kid, or different teachers do different things in different orders. So it's not a reason to stress, and it's very important to resist the urge to compare the kids. Kids are different ages, they learn at different paces. Boys and girls learn differently if you have to generalize. Boys' fine motor skills are dramatically different than girls at this age. So intellectually they might understand something, but physically their body won't do it yet. And then, of course, not all the kids match those gender generalizations either. So do your best to zoom out and enjoy the trip. So let's see. Another thing that happens in group class is the kids get to try out their solos on stage. And so one thing to keep in mind once the kids start, is that when the kids do solos, it's really important to help them choose something that is not their newest thing. If they learn something this week in their lesson, or even this month in their lesson, that's not the thing to do on stage. They should do something that's quite old, because being on stage is a really bizarre experience, even if they don't think it's gonna be. Once they get up there, there's this deer in headlights thing that happens, and we, the teachers and the parents, have to just, be the adults in the room and help them understand what should be performed. And that is sort of a work in progress, I think, for all the parents and even all the teachers, just to identify for each kid what is the right thing to be choosing. But err on the side of older and comfortable, and then they'll have a positive experience up there on stage. Let's see, what else? In group class, group class is also a place for you guys to keep in touch with other parents, because after the first semester, this parents' class isn't happening anymore. So it's a nice place to have conversations with each other about what's working. What's working, and what else. You can even do play dates and stuff like that. So and you are very, very welcome to observe other group classes with your kids or without your kids. I would encourage you to come to other group classes with your kids, especially the later, more pretty fancy ones. The groups that happen in the hall from 2:30 to 5 are the really, the more advanced kids that are in book 2 and up. That's very inspiring for your kids to see where they are going. And especially, so the festival event is, I think it's gonna be on December 20th. And so they have to wait all that time before they get to see anyone else in the program other than the beginners. So come to a class before December 20th and hang out and just see like, wow, big kids. Another opportunity to see the big kids is at performance class. So this is on Sunday nights at 5 o'clock, 5:05 in this room. And it might be just violins, it might be just pianos, it might be all the cello kids, it might be a mixed group. It's basically performance class is an opportunity for are you recording right now? Okay.
Yeah.
Performance class is an opportunity for the students to try out their solos on stage in front of people who might not be their usual audience. And it's very casual. They should follow the same protocol of choosing something that's really pretty old, not trying out their brand newest thing. It's really important that the kids are not doing something with piano for the first time on stage during a performance like that, because some of the pieces can sound very different with piano. So they should definitely have already played it in group class a lot of times with the group before and really have internalized those pieces before they try it on stage in the performance class. And then, so the first year people, probably you don't want to go to the performance class and expect your kid to be on stage. They probably won't want to do that, it's scary. So you should definitely come to a performance class just as audience members and just be supportive. And it can be really fun for them to be at a concert. So that's a great opportunity. Those dates will be going out this Thursday. So that's the group class and performance class, that's your access to the big kids. And then of course the events. But that is the long term, that's the big picture. The kids see the other kids and they are then visualizing themselves doing that big kid thing. And that is what helps them get going. The festival concerts is a group class concert. Well, it's a whole group concert. So it's all 90 violin students will be at this event. And as they go through the years, they see how they each year play more things. And then so then it becomes an assumption that they will eventually get to the top. So it's kind of like setting their vision also. So let's see. The private lessons, of course, are the place where you might learn new things. But you shouldn't expect to learn new things at every lesson, because a lot of our energy is focused on refining what we already know. So there's always a balance between new things and refining and internalizing, but there is probably not going to be new things at each lesson. And so we want to try to find the zen of developing the skills for what they are rather than zooming forward. What you guys are going to do in the next several weeks is on a dramatically different timeline than the kids will. And there will be mixed results. Some of them, we will not be teaching you on the level of refinement that we will be teaching the kids, because we want to get you guys through the twinkles in your first 15 weeks, which is rapid, but not necessarily realistic. But we have to do it anyway, because we want you guys to know a lot. So, and then plus they're little, so we won't do that. Did you guys read these little things, the Suzuki approach and the letter for a beginning parent? Aren't those cute? And the parent's pledge?
Yes.
Does anyone want to read one of their favorite sentences or 3 from these books? Something that resonated with you on pages 5, 6, and 7? read a couple that I like. Along the way, he will most certainly at one time or another lie down on the floor when everyone else is standing up. Interrupt a lesson with a rambling discourse, definitely not on music. And drop his violin on its bridge or other delicate part. These things are things that your kids will most definitely do. It will definitely happen at some point. And you can know that you're probably the one who will care the most that has happened. Because of course they're your kid and you notice the most. And the teacher has seen it all. That's why we get drinks after teaching days. And share stories and you will not believe what this guy did. We had
my favorite is get to a lesson and do absolutely nothing.
There you go.
Which has happened.
That's a really good one. I'm really glad that you said that one. Get to the lesson and demonstrate nothing that you practiced. It was working
And
at
you're
home.
sitting there and you're thinking,
You did this
and
yesterday.
you're not supposed to talk because you know you're in class with the teacher and your teacher's asking this kid things and you are, what we did, you don't remember what we did, did we talk about it?
Yeah, right. And that difference is normal, that you practice something at home and it's working at home and then you get to the lesson and they won't demonstrate it. It won't. Sometimes it's because it's like a fear of, there's like a fear thing that could happen where they're worried that it won't be as good as they want it to be, or they're worried that it won't be as good as you want it to be, and so it inhibits them. That's a normal thing. It's also very normal to literally be intimidated by the whole situation and actually forget how to do things. Anyone who's studied an instrument and taken lessons has experienced this. And a further level is that's a demonstration of just how many more times we have to do something for it to actually come out in the moment of when it counts, which is in a lesson or at a recital. So we could have a thing learned, it's learned, but then when you get under the pressure situation, it's gone. Whether it's an anxiety thing or it's just a physical, like it's not quite there yet thing, regardless, it takes a lot of repeating. Way more doing than you think it will. So expect that to happen and try not to worry. And then do more of it at home. And you can, one of the things that I like to do in this class is brainstorm ways to make the repetitions less, we don't want them to be tedious or boring or anything. So we want to try to find ways that those doing that can be interesting. So that's a trick, but yeah.
In theory, I love the idea of siblings at home.
Yeah. In reality, they're
awesome.
pulling on you all the time.
But in general, I just feel like the whole sibling treatment is confusing to me. As a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Can they come to group classes if they're quiet? How do you practice with? I don't know what your thoughts are, or if you guys have done that before.
It's impossible.
Yeah, sorry.
It's really tricky.
I mean, in my household, it's impossible. You
Yeah.
cannot practice with the siblings.